All right, hello, a big warm welcome to all of you who have joined us in today's Facebook Live at the Tropicana Corporation Berhad Facebook page. Without further ado, we're going to kickstart things, but let me introduce myself first. My name is Zora, and it's a pleasure being your host for today's session. Also, I see plenty of you have already joined us. Don't forget to like and share. But meanwhile, let's keep today's session interactive and fun. Do drop us a comment in the comment box below and let's get interacting. Now, without further ado, I will also introduce our guest for today. Today, we'll be having two guests. The first will be Sean Tan, or perhaps you guys know him as Hung, a renowned property YouTuber, as well as the founder of the Makeover Guys. Gavin Liu will be joining us as well. All right, today, what is the sharing all about? We're gonna find out how to optimize our property investment ROI with interior design. I hope you guys are as excited as I am. And not forgetting, we also have a focus property for today. And being part of the lively Subang Jaya, which is now in fact a city, Tropicana Metro Park is an integrated township development. And it's by one of the top 10 developers in Malaysia, Tropicana Corporation Berhad. The township is a freehold mixed development that brings together premium residences, commercial spaces, recreational areas, as well as a beautiful central park. And this is part of a holistic lifestyle that you can find in this exclusive enclave in Subang Jaya. And in this episode as well, we will be giving away 10 units of 50 ringgit of Grab vouchers for you guys to use. So how do you win these prizes? Well, just follow these simple steps below and you will stand a chance to be one of the 10 lucky winners today. So step 1, all you have to do is like and share this live video. Remember to actually set your profile to public. Not forgetting step 2, fill in the registration form that is pinned in the comment section below. And step 3, participate in the Q&A session. Engage with us throughout this entire episode, and you could very well be one of the lucky winners for today. Besides that, for those of you who have actually filled in the forms, you will also be eligible for the Grand Lucky Draw or Final Lucky Draw after our live show series has ended. So winners will stand a chance to win fabulous prizes, and these include a Dyson Air Purifier, Nespresso coffee machine, as well as a Harman Kardon Aura Studio Bluetooth speaker. So what are you waiting for? Fill in the form now and you may just be one of the lucky winners. To know more, remember to also like and follow the Tropicana Corporation Berhad Facebook page. Alright guys, I believe you guys have already filled in the form, and if you haven't, you want to do it fast so you don't miss out on the opportunity to win the Grab vouchers, as we'll be giving them away very, very soon. Now the time has come for the very, very first question that you guys have to answer, and it's a super simple one. Question number 1 is, where is Tropicana Metro Park located? Right, a super easy question. Quickly type your answers in the comment section below. All right, without further ado, let's kickstart things. Let me introduce to all of you our two guest speakers that we have today with us. First up, we have Sean Tan. Welcome, welcome.
Hi,
I think
guys.
many of you guys know him as Hung, probably a renowned social media content creator. I personally am a fan of all your videos, right? Because that's where you can actually, look at all the property reviews in a very unbiased manner. So he gives wonderful unbiased insights on YouTube as well. And not forgetting, we also have our second speaker here for today. A big warm welcome to the founder of the Makeover Guys. Let's give it up for Gavin Liu.
Hi guys, Gavin here, happy to be here.
I think I have to do very little talking today because we've got like all the gurus here, right? You guys are like gurus to share with us, how can we actually reap the best ROIs from our property investment. But just to kickstart things, right, to break the ice a little, right? Lockdown has been like forever, I think, right? I don't know how many days is it, like what, 500 days, 600 days? Everyone has lost count, practically, right? So what's going on with you guys and your businesses right now?
Well, I think when the lockdown came, it was pretty scary, right? So truth be told, all of us didn't really know what to expect. But I think all of us got into, put on our brainstorm hats and started, coming up ideas on how do we go through this. And at the blink of an eye, I think time passes so fast during this pandemic, right? And at the blink of an eye, it's been 500 days. And as of now, I'm pretty glad that we've gotten our meaty letters to start work.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so as a general industry, but there's still a lot of challenges because I mean, we have a whole long supply chain, right? So all of them need to get vaccinated, meet the approval. So we are working really hard to get that. So I think we're about 60% there, 70% there, and now is making sure the team is safe. Although we can go out and work, I mean, we still cannot relax, right? So the SOPs got to be strong, and yeah, so that's what we've been busy with. So pretty soon we'll be back out, and our focus is of course coming up, doing quality work and for all the projects that have been on hold.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to see, actually hear that things are actually getting back, to be more active as well, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's great for the economy in general, and also property investment, also great for property owners as well, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Because-
Sean, how about you? Are you still busy going around reviewing all the properties?
Yes, in a very safe manner, of course.
Yeah.
But what's excited to me is, of course, back in action, but the new VPs that is all lined up. I think because of the lockdown, all lined up. Then now it's open gate, like floodgate. Everybody is handing over keys.
Right.
So good business for them lah. but what I'm more excited about is the way forward. Like we have been in 500 days of home. I forgot how the office looks like. So like to move forward, right? Then do you work from an office base or do you go to home now? I've been to the malls lately. Actually, walking in the mall is actually very tiring. If you, like suddenly from
Is it
gardens.
because you haven't been exercising?
No. Suddenly you realize that, hey, spending a lot of time in the traffic, spending a lot of time in the malls, actually we are wasting a lot of time.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Yeah. So now I'm pretty excited to see like what's the way forward in our lifestyle, like working wise, leisure wise. It's so different.
Right.
Yeah.
I think even for myself, right, you sort of also have to create your own new space in your own home, right?
Yeah.
So last time, you just used to be come up, from the landing area of my living area, and then you turn right, and it's my bedroom. That's it. And then you get out to your proper office space. Now, right outside there, I have my office space, I have my treadmill, and it's just become like this one entire fluid space, right?
Wow.
Yeah, I think Sean, you hit it spot on, right? The pandemic, with COVID and everything, has really changed the way we look at our homes and also the way we live. Like for me, for instance, right, it used to just be, one landing, my living area, and now I have my bedroom, and that's about it lah. That's where I interact with my home, right? And now, when I'm working from home, I need my own study, and then I have my own treadmill area. It's become like a gym, a study, my bedroom, all in one, right? One whole fluid space. So maybe, could you guys also share with us, right? Maybe a day-to-day business. How do you actually think? How will you put it in words to elaborate further on the change of lifestyles that you're seeing, whether from your customers or be it your friends?
I think because I still work in the makeover, guys. So like what we always pursue is more than just that 3 dimensions. Because every time we get the keys, right, it's only XYZ plane. You got the floor, length, height, width, right? That's about it. But there's more to that, weirdly. You have the scent, you have the sense of security, you have the connections, you have the convenience, and etc. Right? So air quality plays a role. The distance to your next retail or the door-to-door experience to your park, all those becomes very, very crucial, and it's highlighted in this pandemic. Right? Really, suddenly, it's very, very sad. Like when I look into my house, right, at the start of the lockdown, I got panicked.
Why?
Because it was
Panic
really,
attack.
it was really like a pit stop. Like what Kevin said. To me, it's like a hotel. So that's why my mother always scold me. Like, you think the house is a hotel, is it? So I think that suddenly became the emphasis of the hero of a space instead of just the shell.
Yeah.
But I maybe he can talk more about his idiom that he always tell me about.
My what?
The idiom.
Then he tell me the house and the house and the car kind of thing.
Correct. Yeah. So like I said, I think previously the home is like a pit stop, and another part of home ownership is, I feel that it can be improved. It's the fact that it's a question: why can't we buy a fully furnished designer home right off the bat from a developer? Because buying an empty home, like what Sean said, right, the 3 axis, I feel like it's like buying a car without seats, right? Because after you buy the car, fine, I can customize my seats however I want, right? But I can't use it off the bat. So that means after you get your keys, there's still a pretty long journey. There are a lot of stages for you to go through. And wouldn't it be nice, that if I buy a property, right off the bat, I can actually select what sort of designs I like, what sort of furniture I want to put in, and when the key is handed to me, I can actually move in. So it's like buying a car straight away after that. I can fill up petrol, I can start driving, right? So I think moving forward will, and you can see the trend is picking up. So I think moving forward, we will see more and more of this type of things happening, right? And I'm pretty excited about that.
Exciting stuff. Yeah, I think, like Shaw, what you said, right? People look at their homes beyond the four walls, right?
Yep.
So now I think, you see purchasers who are also savvier nowadays, right? They will ask you, how big is your Central Park? What do you have in your Central Park?
Right.
What facilities do you have? Rightfully, like you said,
Yep.
how far away is the nearest commercial?
Yep.
And I think that's where developers also have to step up their game, and provide a little bit more within the township, within the mixed development. And I think a good point about fully furnished units, right? Should there be actually more fully furnished units in the market? So from the get-go, you get your keys, you can straight away reap the rewards from it, right? Okay, so another thing, right, that is super interesting that we want to take a look at, right? It was always a thing, to move things around, right? Like I sort of shared, move things around your home, but we don't really practice this anymore. So, Gavin, what would be some of your tips to landlords or property owners regarding interior design or regarding ID of their unit?
Okay, so we talk about makeovers or we talk about furnishing a home. I think we need to be very, very clear the intent from the get-go, right? Because if I were to put on my cap or an investor cap and I want to renovate my home, obviously it's going to be for returns, right? And then obviously I have to create a product that suits the market, right? And this is where tenant profiling comes in. I have to make sure that my customers, like this sort of things, like this sort of price range. So that's the investor cap. So makeovers for rent, we have to adopt that mindset, and we cannot be too emotionally invested. I may like a certain style, but if the tenant doesn't like it, my customers don't like it, there's no point in me actually, fulfilling all that, right? But on the other hand, if you bought a house and you really want to stay in it, now I think the mindset I put on the owner-occupier mindset, that's like totally different. If I like green walls, go for it, right? If I want to spend a lot on full built-ins, go for it. But what's important is inside the built-ins, the compartments, because I love shoes maybe, I need a place to put my. So you see, everything has to be designed based on the intent now.
Okay, so what would your advice be to property owners when they aim to furnish out or ID their unit? Should they already have like a persona in mind? Like my persona, okay, I want to rent it out to a person like Gavin, for instance.
Yes.
How does that work? How does the thought process work?
So in a way, you need a persona, but you also need to do what we call area analysis. So for example, if your property is in Subang, where there are a lot of unis, so you'll know that there's certain demand, right, where comes from student market. But if your property is in, say, Montiara and all that, then the price range of the rent. That persona, actually, you can actually in a way guess. It's either the lower part, local markets, professionals, or even expats.
Okay, all right. And of course, ultimately, right, the end product, right, for what you spoke about wouldn't be the same. I think you talked about some differences and considerations earlier on. Could you actually spell out the difference between both of what you mentioned earlier?
So for rental and own stay
yes.
makeovers, right?
Yes.
Actually, the product is exactly the same.
Simplifies things for everyone.
Correct. I mean the product is exactly, but the process, like I said, the thought process is very, very different. So if we're in the service industry, right? So if I were to serve a property investor, the conversations will go like, your rental is only so X amount. You may want to spend only this amount. And then your tenant profiles are looking for this sort of finishing, let's do that. But if the process for owner-occupiers, I will need to ask, what are your family plans? Do you intend to have kids in the future? Are you a social person? Do you invite guests over a lot? Because if you do, then let's do a nice island, right? This is where you can actually socialize with your friends.
Okay.
But
Great
also
insights.
something to add on, right? I think from from an owner point of view, there's always an alternative, which means like if budget is not up to what we can afford in the makeover guys, right? You can always do it yourself, right? You can always engage contractors yourself. But in replacement for that would be your own time, your own expertise, your own eye for design, because all you do yourself, man. So if the house come out, you can Taobao everything, you can do everything, right? But suddenly the two-seater is the mini two-seater. Then, yeah, so that is what you are actually paying for. But I think it's always a choice that you can do. But what I really learned from him as well is that very clear demarcation of intent, because that dictates. One is your budget dictates everything. I got 100,000, okay, let's spend all, like ball, right? The other one is what's the minimum amount to spend to get the maximum return in rental.
Right.
So the entire conversations, right? Sometimes when we see like, my brother just got his unit also from Tropicana, right? So he is,
Good to know.
so he's like, when I explain the same thing to him, that's like, okay, so until today the unit is ongoing already, but we have yet to see the design. Because it does not matter. What matters is in the perspective of the user, the potential user instead. So that's that huge mindset between an owner and an investor. Yeah,
Right.
so it gotta be really clear lah. If not, you gotta do halfway. I like green, no? But when,
Correct.
but when your potential tenant open the door,
I
oh
hate
my
green.
god! Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's really interesting sharing. I think that's a good part, for all of you guys, viewers, out there, if you're watching. If you already have, a unit in hand or thinking of buying a unit, it's a good thing to start deciding, right? Whether you are actually looking at this unit as a form of investment or for own stay, and that sort of dictates what sort of form and functionalities your ID design would have for the unit. Now, aside from that, right, let's talk, earlier on you talked about like fully furnished units.
Yeah.
And good idea for developers to have fully furnished units in the market. What is your take on, in terms of property investment from your perspective, bare, semi-furnished and fully furnished units?
Okay, so I actually have a pyramid for this, right?
Okay.
So we call this a supply pyramid, right?
Yeah.
If you talk about, let's talk about rental, right? If you want to rent out a property, I think where I call this the red ocean, where everyone is competing at price, will be your bare or partial furnished units. Because why? Number one, as an investor, is the path of least resistance. It's the easiest for me to do, right? I don't really need to put out effort. I don't need to put money. I don't need to invest time. I just rent it out. So a lot of people do that, which also means it's a red ocean. So if it's a red ocean, means you compete on price, right?
Yeah.
If I am a buyer, you're partial furnished, you're partial furnished, you're partial furnished, 1,200, 1,300, 1,500, it's quite obvious which one I would choose for, because there's no clear distinction or winning point. Then moving up the supply pyramid, which is less in the market, is something I call functional fully furnished. It's fully furnished, it's functional, it works. But this is also, for an investor point of view, is the path of moderate resistance. I spend some money, but I don't really invest a lot of time thinking about the design. Right?
Yeah.
I go and spend money, okay, I put it there, it's functional. Which also means in the market there are a lot of units at this. So it's also pretty competitive. Honestly, to be designer fully furnished, it's not easy. You need to have the eye. Either you spend a whole lot of money and it doesn't make sense, makes financial sense, or it just takes too much time. So from an investor point of view, I would definitely love to compete in a space where I've got a unique selling point, I've got less competition, and I can actually, ask for either, and I can choose my tenants because there's demand.
Right.
In other words, because sometimes the first time I listen also I don't understand.
Let's all visualize this pyramid.
Yeah, so like it also means if I were to do bare furnish, right, only people that will stay for more than 3 years will want to come. So that's why the cost becomes very important. Like, oh, he 1,300 or you 1,200, you take or not? If you give me 1,200, I take. Then I will furnish in my stuff, because after I furnish in my stuff, only it makes sense for me to stay longer. So you can only have that segment of tenant profile. If you semi-furnish it, then you have. But then when you fully furnish it, suddenly the possibility of your target audience becomes very different. You can go to student, long-term stay, short-term stay, whatever, right? Also can use. Suddenly, oh, the market is back, tourism is back. Suddenly there's a new hotspot next to your building. Airbnb also can.
Correct.
Long-term stay also can. But if you are the moderate one, only families. I wouldn't come for a holiday and stay in a home that is exactly like my house, right? So, yeah,
To put it bluntly, yes.
correct. So if you were to put it fully furnished, then suddenly there's this endless. And when we talk about investment, always, you need to have multiple rental options. You need to have multiple tenant profiles. What's your plan A? What's your plan B? What's your plan C? Oh, I learned from him. So I need to decipher from that pyramid, right? Okay, like that one, like that. Okay. Then to put it into Metro Park instead, right? Then it's very obvious. Like if you look into there, you have a working class. Then you have the managers of all the MNCs. And then you have students as well.
Yep.
Then it's in between Shah Alam, in between Subang. Who are the profiles? And that makes all the difference when you do the costing. Like, should I fully furnish my kitchen? Fully furnished is one thing. Like functional is checked. Quality then is different.
Yes.
Correct.
Do I want solid surface?
Aesthetic.
Aesthetics, right? Yeah.
So that's when, like, I think whatever the team in the makeover guys did is excellent. Suddenly the color, the mood, the atmosphere becomes part of the bargaining chip for more rent.
Yeah.
Like when I always hear his stories on the Mont Kiara one, like how people pay exorbitant amount just because he loves the design.
So you can Instagram it every day, is it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Most probably.
So the profile of a person that is going to rent a studio unit fully furnished, it's very obvious that quantity of space is not important,
Yep.
right? So now we have another group of people that is pursuing quality of space.
Yeah.
And again, back to the pandemic, right? That's all that matter.
Correct. Correct.
So yeah, the pyramid.
Pyramid. That is a big takeaway for all of us today, right? I mean, like, I would say, like, you're right, you know, because the rental marketplace is also highly competitive.
Yeah.
And a lot of it, aside from design and aesthetics, you know, agents are going out there, even property owners themselves are going out there with pictures, right? Pictures, videos. So that's the first thing to even bait a
Correct.
potential tenant, right?
Correct.
So I think, you know, that's where it comes that all these are so important. Sean, you mentioned a bit about costing, right? So I think a lot of our viewers out there, I'm sure you have that thought, or you probably already put it in the comments section, right? You're probably thinking, how much, as a benchmark, right, would a makeover of an apartment be? Roughly, how would you cost it?
That one is his jurisdiction.
So generally, okay, number one, I think it depends on the level of fittings provided by developer, right? So, but a 3-bedroom apartment typically, let's say, can start from around 20 over 1,000 to be fully furnished, moving condition,
Okay.
right? And of course, the number can go up again depending on whether or not the big ticket items are already covered for by the developer. I think in Tropicana's case, a lot of big ticket items are already provided. The second part, of course, it depends on your intent, whether you want rent. If you're again rent, you try and minimize it to suit the rental market. If it's for own stay, this number can fluctuate based on your requirements.
There's no limit.
There's no limit. Right? It really depends on your preference and what. Yeah, so.
Yeah. So I think it's also important when you do, like, again, for my brother's case, unfortunately, the product he buy, it's not fully furnished. Nor partial furnish. That's suddenly where we need to do the kitchen, we need to do the aircon and all, right? People forgot how important how expensive a kitchen can be.
Correct.
Yes, of course.
Yeah,
right?
so
All the
I
fittings.
always use this example. A lot of people come to me, Sean, I got 8,000 ringgit. Tell me what I can do. Buy a couch or a bed or whatsoever. So because I think this kind of makeover or home furnishing, right, it's not done often enough. Unfortunately, like we are very fortunate that we have several investments, but for those like the whole family invest first time, then the first time get the home keys, first time to do, then when they do all this, if they are not knowledgeable enough, they pull every trigger as if they're going to stay themselves.
Yeah.
Then when they rent out to a tenant, then the tenant damage everything, the hati berkecai, so the everything. So it's like it's a very we all heard that story before. So that's why it's very important to get yourself knowledgeable, get yourself informed, and especially when you do investment, I think always put yourself as the tenant. Like instead of focusing a lot on the kitchen solid surface, I burst my budget the first thing because I see the kitchen, oh yo, spectacular. But I got no more budget for my room.
Right.
So I just put a tilam. So we always see those kind of things, the wrong budgeting system as well.
Yeah.
So what we pursue is always, like you said, function first before we escalate into designer. And designing that part is a very difficult thing to do lah. So renovation, unfortunately, is this portion where a lot of people missed out. A lot of people really think that 8,000 can do a lot. Unfortunately lah. So
I completely agree with you. I mean, I was there, been that, right? I done that, been that, right? So basically, even my first property that I bought, I was like, wow, I think this amount can get this unit decked out lah, right? And then when you get the costing, you're like, oh, actually this amount can only buy you so much, right? And how do you actually get it up to par to be competitive in the rental space?
Correct.
Right, it's another thing. I think another thing that people always talk about right now is in terms of they may call it Instagrammable design or trendy design, or big thing right now is minimalist design, right? So what are your takes on all this sort of aesthetics?
Again, based on intent. So if it's an investment unit, right? So certain trends come and go, right? So for example, if you look at the ideal world today, a lot of trends is going into organic shapes, right? Muted neutral colors, organic shapes. Arches are really in now. So even decoration things, right? You have arch, and then but is it something that you will put in your investment unit?
Yeah.
Because
is it evergreen?
Is it evergreen? Trends used to last 10, 15 years. But looking at the past 20 years, actually trends has been cycling faster and faster, right? So if it's for rent, I would suggest, going something safe, conservative, evergreen, timeless. Please do that. But if it's for your own stay, if you want to do something in trend, go for it. By all means, go for it. But I also do think that, can we manage the budget so that I can, instead of spending a few $100,000, right? Like how our parents used to do renovation. They spend a few $100 and then they live with it for 20 years. Can we somehow manage the cost a little bit? Spend $60,000, refresh every 10 years? You still don't spend $200,000-$300,000.
Right.
So this is another idea that we always think about. So if you can lower the cost, it means you can refresh, you can do it. So we're always trying to challenge that.
Right.
But I think it's important to see this kind of behavior change, because last time back in our parents' days, I still remember almost every other Chinese New Year they were 拜战.
Yeah.
They were
What is 拜战?
They were
rearrange.
Rearrange.
They
Okay.
will rearrange things. So because unfortunately they don't have that much budget to move into another space, right? So rearranging furnitures at home becomes a very normal custom. Actually, every Chinese New Year, why not these two traditional chairs we put there? Then the couch we change something else. So, but as our lifestyle pace moves so fast, again, I forgot when you suddenly ask me what's my color of my sofa, I can't tell. Because I visited too many houses, so suddenly, when's the last time I on the TV?
Right.
Yeah, so then that becomes very, very evident. Then the other one, when it's important to keep your house design on trend as well, because tenancy agreements now are on a yearly basis.
Yeah.
So let's say you do partial furnish, right? You lucky lah. You get one tenant that is desperate for space urgently. I want it, I get it, right? That at the price you want. Next year, she's more calm down, so she's more settled down. She can find the space that she wants. Then your unit is up for rent again, in a condition that is not really ideal. But if you fully furnish it, every time you put up the picture, like you say, it's very normal for us to look at things based on pictures. That's the first thing that shouts to us.
Yeah.
Then the design cost suddenly becomes a very different approach. It's a very ROI driven thing. Like every time when I put my unit out, I just rented out my unit in Puchong yesterday, and it was out like 2 weeks. Because it's the same pictures that go out, people grab. Go out, people grab. So when my neighbors tell me, no, people want to rent my house, then you look at the pictures, right?
And you're like, no wonder.
No wonder. But I cannot say like that lah. No wonder lah. So you So I think with that, A lot of people don't see that, again, because it's that lack of experience of being an investor. Because you need to deal with this conversation every year. New tenant coming in, your unit, instead of, hey, can cheaper a bit, like, wow, I like it there. So that's why the trend of minimalist or whatsoever, right? Again, with the intent, but I think it's important. So fully furnishing might be very hefty upfront, but when you put it like in a 10, 20 years thing, right? It's if I would have known earlier, I would definitely fully furnish my Puchong before I met him. That was like 15 years ago. Whoa. Yeah, so that's definitely very beneficial.
All right. I think that was a fantastic insights and sharing. Now let's draw it back a little bit to our property focus right here, right? Which is the units at Tropicana Metro Park. So Gavin, maybe you can share with us, right? So roughly how much, based on the existing package for the Tropicana Metro Park units, roughly how much would a property owner be spending to bring it up to mark to be competitive?
Okay, so if you're going up for rent, right? So I think typically you should be spending around probably 30 to 40-ish. I think that should be enough to bring it up to put it in the top of the pyramid. That's why I call it, right? Top of the pyramid. But for own stay, I think there are certain things that we really need to be mindful and design accordingly. So own stay, you probably need to spend around 50 to 80, right, to get it into a pretty decent, comfortable, very nice level.
Right.
And if I'm not, we are also doing a collaboration with Tropicana.
Yes,
right?
of course you are.
Yes.
Why don't you talk about it?
Yeah, so I want to talk about that as well.
Yeah.
And so I think Tropicana has been pretty generous with a lot of the upgrades rather than what I just said. If you buy Paisley unit, it actually comes with a free makeover worth close to 100,000 ringgit. So like I said, again, elevated lifestyle. You have more things, more built-ins, more personalization. So yeah.
Perfect stuff. Super interesting stuff that was shared by both of you. And I'm sure some of you may have questions. Don't hesitate to actually ask us in the comment section or via the WhatsApp QR code. Thank you so much for your sharing thus far to Yiheng as well as Gavin. And for those of you who are in front of the screen, if you're waiting for more information about this awesome township, which we call Tropicana Metro Park, stay tuned. We will come back after this. And don't forget, we will also have a Q&A session later for you guys to win one of 10 Grab vouchers worth 50 ringgit, all right? So that is one of the prizes that you guys get to bring home. And for those of you who are interested to know more about the property, be it South Place Residences or be it Paisley Service Residences, both located within the exclusive Tropicana Metro Park Township, you may also scan the WhatsApp QR code at the bottom and talk to one of our sales representatives right now. Tropicana Metro Park is a sprawling freehold 88-acre development lying within Subang Jaya, an affluent, vibrant township in the Klang Valley, comprising service residences, retail hotspots, GEMS International School, as well as a 9-acre urban park. Tropicana Metro Park paves the way for an integrated lifestyle within an urban setting, providing a wholesome living experience and holistic balance between work and play. Conveniently located only 24 kilometers from Kuala Lumpur city centre, Tropicana Metro Park is also accessible via public transport in the form of an adjacent KTM station. Not only that, the urban and convenient lifestyle will be further enhanced with a direct link bridge connecting the federal highway to Tropicana Metro Park's doorstep, ensuring a fast and easy commute for residents, workers, and visitors. From family-sized service residences to stylish compact pads, Tropicana Metro Park's versatility lets you have the lifestyle of your choice. Adding a sophisticated retail strip to the mix, it sets out to be the new highlight of the Subang Jaya neighborhood, one that everyone loves. South Place Residences within Tropicana Metro Park is the happiest place to be of Subang Jaya's high-rise homes. Your new home is where the essence of gleeful living awaits. Roll up in style and be welcome within the brightly lit residences drop-off. Take in the views and lounge by the pool facilities podium. Soothe your senses with a delightful swim. Or get cozy and creative in the comfort of your very own space. Take pleasure as you bask in the vast selection of over 20 facilities to make use of as you please. Seek out a balanced lifestyle within the urban park and the shops at your easy access. South Place Residences, your lifestyle-centric residences right above exciting neighborhood shops, surrounded by spectacularly vibrant towns of Subang Jaya, Shah Alam, and Glenmary, with winning views of the urban park with a canal. With build-up sizes of 500 square feet and 700 square feet, and it comes with choices of studio or two-bedroom units, all located conveniently connected to the retail podium directly. South Place Residences is designed as a green building with over 20 exclusive resort-style facilities and landscape decks for scenic views. Introducing the new stylish service residences of Tropicana Metro Park, South Place Residences. Today, we are going to take you on a special virtual tour of the Type B studio unit, which is 500 square feet. Welcome to the South Place Residences Type B unit, which comes partially furnished with digital door lock as well as air conditioners. As you can see, the space is cozy yet spacious. Right here, take a look at your living area whereby you get to relax, watch television, and also enjoy wonderful views of the urban park as well as Shah Alam. Now, you have plenty of natural light coming in, and this is because you'll enjoy large window panels which span 8 feet in height. For those of you who enjoy cooking at home, you'll be pleased to know that the unit comes with a good-sized kitchen and comes as well semi-furnished with the kitchen cabinet, sink and tap, and hood and hob. This is the bedroom area, spacious enough to fit a king-size bed as well as a wardrobe and dressing area. Now you'll notice there's plenty of natural sunlight coming in, and this is due to the large windows. But most importantly, it's also connected to an ensuite bathroom. Now let's take a look at the bathroom area. You'll notice it comes with full height wall tiles, also fully fitted with WC, sink and tap, shower screen with glass door, as well as the instant water heater. Now, my favorite part of this unit is that the WC and shower area are separated. In this unit, there is still ample of space for your very own study area, a quiet corner for your new work-from-home lifestyle. Now that you've seen South Place Residences show unit, let's take a look on how to make typical unusual at South Place only at Tropicana Metro Park. All right, welcome back, guys. What do you guys think? I hope that all of you were impressed with what you have seen or viewed throughout the walkthrough experience of the show unit with me. So if you are, and maybe you have some questions, don't forget, scan the WhatsApp QR code at the bottom and talk to our sales representatives right now. Also, not forgetting, as mentioned in the beginning of the show, we will be giving away 10 units of 50 ringgit Grab vouchers to some lucky winners. All you have to do is follow these simple steps and you will stand a chance to win one of these prizes. So step 1, remember to like as well as share this live video. Make sure to share with all your family and friends, and remember to set your profile to public. Step 2, fill up the registration form pinned right below at the comment section. And step 3, your final step, participate in the Q&A session, engage with us throughout the session, and you'll stand a chance to win one of these amazing prizes. And besides that, like we have mentioned, if for those of you who have actually filled in the registration forms, you will also be eligible to participate in our grand or final lucky draw, which winners will be announced right after the live series has ended. So winners will stand a chance to win some amazing prizes, amongst them the Dyson air purifier, also the Nespresso coffee machine, and a Harman Kardon Aura Studio Bluetooth speaker. Amazing prizes indeed, so don't miss out. So what are you waiting for? Fill in the form right now and you may be just one of the lucky winners. So to know more, remember, like and follow our Tropicana Facebook page. Okay, so listen carefully right now. I'll be asking you guys the second question. Okay, so the second question is, name one, just one, of the amenities within the Tropicana Metro Park vicinity. Put your thinking caps on, give us the answers right in the comments below to stand a chance to win some amazing prizes. Alright, for those of you who have just joined in, you're wondering what's going on. First and foremost, a big welcome to you. So what's going on? We have these two gentlemen right here with me. We have Sean, a renowned social media content creator, as well as Gavin, the founder of the Makeover Guys, right here with us to share with all of you how to optimize your property investment ROI with smart interior design trends. Okay, so now Gavin, we're gonna kickstart the second segment with a big burning question.
Sure.
Based on your data, right, for the Makeover Guys, but how's the market after MCO, post-pandemic market outlook?
So after this MCO, so there's a lot, contrary to popular belief, right? There's still a lot of action going on in the rental market, but definitely certain areas are impacted. So if you talk about luxury properties, especially those around KLCC, who targets expats with the border closed, so of course those are affected I think projects that are short-term based is also affected. Again, because of the closed borders, Airbnb demand, short-term stay demand has dropped. But for residential focused, actually there's still a lot of transactions happening.
Right.
So places like PJ, Subang, Cheras, we still see a lot of transactions. Ultimately, from the Makeover Guys, we are still getting a lot of requests as well to furnish up because let's face it, when you renovate, it's not a short-term thing, right? You expect to last a few years, and looking at our vaccination rates, and we are in talks with travel bubbles and stuff like that, ultimately the rental market is going to pick up again. So the demand is still strong.
But I think it's very important to, when you look into the news, right, you have single one-liners saying like,
Headlines.
Yeah, those headlines, right?
wow, property half price, wow, property this, property that. So whether is it good or bad, right? Most probably it's true. Because they look at one specific niche. Like when there's travel restrictions, the short-term stay, the Airbnb is just gone case, right?
Yeah.
Like tourism areas, hotspots like Malacca, hotspots, all gone case. But residential properties are still very resilient. Like personally, I rent out all my room during MCOs. So it's, then if you talk about being very positive, like we are foreseeing a bull run because on the previous economic crisis, what comes right after that is property bull run. People made money on share markets, people made money on crypto. Where are this all money going to go, right? Stock, property. So if you believe that as well, it's true. Because we are seeing auction market, a lot of people are like, oh, auction market is going to be so populated. I've been in the auction scene for very frequently, lately lah, very sampat. Then I see they are outbidding the original price.
Yeah.
So everyone is having all this money that they kind of used to go overseas or Osaka or whatever, right? Suddenly all this money don't know where to spend. And we see in Lambo's annual sales has reached its peak. We see luxury items like watches and jewelries all no stock.
Yeah.
Then that's why when we read news, it's very important to see, to read beyond the headlines. What's written? Because if you specific niche into Johor's property high rise, most likely it's true. But when you look into an overall, then there's always a different take. So the truth is, negative news sells better. When I tell the world, oh, it's gonna
create
crash.
all the buzz and
Yeah. When I say it's very good, people ask me to justify.
Yeah.
So that's unfortunately the truth of media. Ultimately, it's a business.
That's very, very true. Okay, now another question. Now, if we just scope down a little bit, let's say we have audiences who are already in the market for our property, right? Some of them, may have this thought, why don't one of these two gentlemen tell me if I were to look mixed development versus just purely residential development, what are the pros and cons of each? Or what's your take on it?
I think they are for different target audiences. Because if you look into the development of products across real estate, it was landed homes, then commercial right in front.
Yeah.
Like we see them in PJ, we see them in Cheras. Then some genius just merge them together, add office, add hotel, add mall, ta-da!
Yeah.
Right? So it becomes that very living focus. Because everything needs to be in under one same building. But when such design exists, you need to understand security and convenience are in exact different directions. The more convenience you want, the security measures is going to be compromised.
Correct. Something's got to give, right?
Correct. That's why when we look into mixed development, after 400 visits of different properties, wow, self-glamour. So we start to notice that, okay, we have different access for different functions, it's very important. We have different security checkpoints are very important. But when you are in that pursuit of convenience, the next level for that will be living. When you have your family, you have a kid, right? Convenience is secondary. I need privacy, I need security, I need safety. So it's a whole different category altogether. So if you want a linear function, if you want a singular function building that is only residential, go for it. But the difference will be the door-to-door experience. I need to get an apple for the apple pie that I'm going to bake. That's the whole entire difference.
Right.
I drive out, I need to go through a lot of tears just to get to my car, to the mall, come back out again. Then I forgot my phone again. But it's a mixed development. I can basically go take a lift down to the grocer, come back up. So it's a very different. But I think Gavin can share them from a data point of view, right? We can see very different demand for in terms of rates, in terms of rental rates as well.
So I personally like mixed development as well.
Okay.
So there are I've not reached the stage in my life where I don't have kids, ma. So I'm still at the I want things convenient, right? Right. Even going downstairs just to collect Grab also I don't like one actually.
The Grab driver come all the way up.
So I like to go down, So I like having the convenience of, having the grocer downstairs where I don't have to drive. I like the convenience of having, let's say, if I need a tailor downstairs, and just shorten my, it's all downstairs lah. So I really like that. And a lot of investors actually like mixed developments as well because of this convenience. Tenants also like this type of convenience. If you're at a tenant stage, if you're renting, again, we have different segments lah. But I think the bigger market share is tenants want convenience, right? Because if without convenience, you need to get a car. You need to think about traveling. You need to think about getting the LRT, MRT pass and stuff like that. So from an investment point of view, I think investors like mixed development.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think I would have to agree with that, right? Because even like for myself, I would like to stay somewhere where all my commercial convenience is just right downstairs. You want to meet friends also easy. Just
Yeah.
come lepak in the F&B below,
Yeah,
right?
there's a restaurant now,
Yeah,
a
so that
cafe.
sort of concept. So I think very well explained by both Sean as well as Gavin, and I think that's the entire philosophy right behind the master plan in terms of the design of Tropicana Metro Park. So South Place residences will also soon be completed along with anchor tenants. We hope to share with you some updates really soon, and we hope that with all of this, it actually provides an added convenience to all the residents and tenants alike within the neighborhood. Alright, not forgetting to all of you who are watching, if you have any questions to ask, this is the time, okay? If you have any questions for Sean or Gavin, feel free to actually put it in the comment sections below. We will be picking some of the questions to ask this gentleman right here. So we're gonna start with, I guess, our very first question. I'm just gonna read them right off the screens to get the ball rolling, right? The first audience question is, how do you see the market growth in 2024, which is actually the, yes, that's right, the vacant possession year for this project?
It's going to be very competitive because everyone is going to hand over at the same time. So suddenly tenants is like, woohoo! Because there's always a tendency to move into new blocks.
Yeah.
Right? Then this then differentiates seasoned investors versus amateurs. Like when I get keys from the first time, they need to bring. I'm just describing my brother.
Brother, are you watching?
So it's like bringing the wife, bring the mother, bring the in-law, bring this, bring the friend, bring that, and then only call me, hey, I want to do renovation. I should be the first guy you call, right? Yeah, so then becomes the wrong move. For season 1, then we can see it's okay to get the lower rental rate as long as my unit is rented out first. Because we just need to know that in this standard deviation, we are just at the lowest point. But when things pick up, I think because now tenancy agreements are also on an annual basis. If you want to revise, like this year you cannot hit your ROI by 0.5%, it's okay. Next year, right? So I think by fully furnishing is one of the strategies, and it's a very heavy consideration to think about, because once your unit is out, in between tenancy, you say you want to do makeover, right? Not as easy. Like it's like when you go study, then you come out and work. After you work, you don't want to go back and study. Right?
Yeah, correct.
It's a bit like that kind of experience. So overall, in 2020, this year of VPs, right, we're going to see a lot of that. But for me, I'm very excited because I get to see all actual units. So I get to see, because a lot of audiences are inviting me over to check out their unit.
Nice. All right, let's see what's the next question, okay? I think, Gavin, this question is probably more for you. Let me read it properly. ID trend suggestions that never go outdated. So probably asking you, what are the ID trend suggestions that are timeless and never go outdated?
Wow, never go outdated. Never go outdated.
Yes,
Okay,
never go outdated.
I think
That's what the question says.
Okay, I think I got three things. Never go outdated. First one that I think is very often overlooked. Actually, the first tip, right, doesn't cost a lot of money. In fact, it's free. But the impact, right, is huge. Impact is huge. You just need to actually, make up your mind and do it. The first one, ID trends that never go outdated, is decluttering.
Okay.
I think this one is the most important thing. A lot of houses actually, declutter your space. I mean, every item, right? Every belonging must have a home, and the home can be in the form of a tray, it can be in the form of a box, can be in the form of a compartment, so that when there's a home, you will put it back there, and then it'll look nice and neat, never go outdated, right? Second part will be colors lah. I think always color coordinate. A general rule of thumb is maximum 3 colors per space, right? So you have your primary color, your secondary color, and then of course you have your highlights. Always keep a ratio, the safest ratio. I mean, if you have an eye and you are very creative, by all means use as many colors as you want, right? But if you feel you're not that confident in your selections and all that, always keep a general rule of thumb: 60% the primary color, 30% secondary color, and 10% the third highlight color.
Right.
So hardly go wrong. You can't go wrong in fact, right? So colors. And when it comes to color selection, choose neutral tones lah. So in neutral tones, I also mean natural fibers, natural wood, either or natural fibers. These sort of things, again, timeless. And last but not least, I think this is most overlooked as well, is to decorate lah. Always remember, decorations is like, putting the icing on the cake, right?
Yeah.
You spend so much time and money baking the cake, it tastes fantastic. You need to have the icing on the cake so
Right.
that it looks good lah. Yeah.
Very, very well answered. I think they may have thought that they have got you, right? But actually that was a very important 3 points.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, for the very next question. This is probably for you lah, Sean? I think this is from a first-time home buyer. So he or she wants some advice for a first-time home buyer. It says, I grew up in Subang Jaya, and it's definitely the first location to start with. What is your advice for a first-time home buyer like me?
So I'll just use a lot of assumption here.
Okay.
I think it's important. I always encourage people to look at the first home as an investment first.
Okay.
But then he wants to stay himself, still can, because I think in this property, you need to look for a place that is in between. Right? You don't mind staying yourself, you don't mind renting out as well. So if the installment can cover around 70 to 80% of the installment, then it's a good place to live in.
Yeah.
Because after 4 to 5 years, you should upgrade, right? But we always must 向前看. We must always look forward. Right? So after 4 to 5 years, there will always be rental demand. So in this case, if you look for a space that is 5 to 700 square feet, a lot of people think that 5 to 700 square feet of space is a pigeonhole.
Yeah.
The trick is, again, not selling him hardly, but ID. Later you give me a copy. Okay. But then the empty space always looks very empty one. But only when you put things inside, right, then you feel like, oh, actually it's very livable.
Yeah.
And as long as it's beyond, it's really within your affordability. I think I always emphasize affordability. If you live in Subang, for example, 1,300 to 1,500. Maybe in the border of Subang and Shah Alam is around half of that, 700 to 800,000.
Correct.
It's 700 to 800 per month. Because like my coach stays in Tropicana Metro Park, and I asked why, like because I'm biased like that. why you want to stay there? It's cheap. But then when they rent out, then it becomes very reasonable as well, because there's always potential people.
Yeah.
And the factories, if you look into the lunchtime crowd, it's totally insane in that area. So in conclusion, maybe I jump here and there. Is to look for a place where it's within your affordability, and if the place is a new place where the existing rental can cover around 70 to 80% of that installment amount, I think it's a good thing to go. And that relies on the location of the property itself. Is it in between commercial, working, and living? So you need kind of all those components together.
All right, well answered. Thank you so much, Sean. Let's move over to the next question. I think this is sort of it's a good follow-up question to the question that was that Sean answered right just now. The question is how to maximize space for a smaller unit like 500 square feet. I think this, Gavin, perhaps you can answer, right? It's a very good pointer for those who are actually looking at South-based residences, because it's 500 and 700 square feet as well.
How do you maximize space, right? Okay, so in terms of functionality, so definitely, dual usage furnitures are good. So for example, a bed, which is already very bulky, right? Look for something that can, act as a storage space as well. Then when it comes to furniture selection, right? In order to make the space look bigger, avoid too many bulky built-in furniture, because again that actually minimizes the space. I think having more loose furniture will actually help, and go with furnitures that has legs, those 4 legs. So at least the space doesn't feel so heavy, right? So but in terms of, let's say, the canvas, right, which is what we call the walls and the setting of the house, there's this trick, right? If you go to Disneyland, just detract a little bit, right?
The lines are.
No, if you go to Disneyland, right? The castles look huge, right?
Yeah.
But I think the Disney Imagineers, they use this technique called forced perspective to make the castle look larger than it really is. The thing is, when you look up, the bricks is actually the bricks actually shrink in size. So from a perspective, it looks very big. You can actually, of course, in interior we cannot be so canggih lah.
Yeah.
But certain tricks of this forced perspective can be put in your house to make it look bigger than it is. For example, this is your wall, right? And you paint a certain color. Why can't we design it so that it covers a little bit here, and then you end it with a highlight? So this looks like part of the design, but because this L is a single color, right? When you open the door, it actually looks, wow, the ceiling looks higher than it really is.
Wow.
So this is one trick. The second part is horizontal lines. Again, perspective. You've got two long walls. If you have lines, it makes it look longer than it really is. So certain things that you can do to actually make the space look bigger lah. So in terms of furniture, dual usage, even tables that can be flipped down, I think those really can enhance the space. In terms of design, apply some techniques.
Right.
Perspective
Interesting
techniques.
stuff. Perspective techniques. Learn something new today. Will keep my eyes peeled next time I go to Disneyland.
Yeah.
To see
Never
what,
been there before.
what they're actually doing. Okay, I'm not too sure if this is the final question, but I think it may be. This one's for you, Sean. I'm considering Tropicana Metro Park for investment. What is the estimated rental rate for a 500 square feet unit?
Wow.
Wow, bring out a calculator.
I think, okay, so Subang, it's divided into several places lah. Subang, you have the LRT areas now, you have the student areas now, so you have the USJ Heights area. So Metro Park is part of that. And if you look into rental returns, it's around 1,000-ish lah. Very safe, you can say 1,000-ish. But it depends on your furnishing level. But if you're looking for investment, it depends on, is this your first home, your second home, or your third home? If you are still eligible for the new house key program, I think go ahead. So it means that you can not pay so much upfront.
Yeah.
I think every month the installment is going to be very affordable. Or you can go for Maybank's interest-only loan. I think not only Maybank, other banks also. Maybe I shouldn't say the name, but anyway. So you can actually, there's this thing called interest-only loan currently, where you only pay the interest, so that can ease off the installment amount every month, and you can immediately break even. So you can have more budget to fully furnish your unit, right? So, and you can, as a first-time home buyer, you also have a lot of benefits like, but I think generally now, if it's for an investment, again, it's the same rule when it's on the previous question. If the installment can be covered around 80% by the rental, I think it's a go. Yeah, so I think that's the rule of thumb that I followed myself, because personally, I also got my house key. Yeah, so it's a once in a lifetime opportunity that I really encourage people to look into it now. Since when our government was just like, hey, go buy house. Go buy house. Yeah.
Better just seize the opportunity, right, while it's
yeah.
there. Okay, thank you so much, Sean. So I think we have one more final question. And the question reads, probably for Gavin, right? Can you share some secrets on how to make my home look like I have hired an interior designer? Now, trick for this question, you cannot say that just hire you lah. So,
That's what I wanted to say.
What's your answer to this then?
Okay, so secrets on making your home. So like I said, I think I covered color coordination previously, right? So I think that's pretty important, right? So follow the 60-30-10 rule. Even wood grain, wood tone can be a color, right? So for example, light wood, choose furniture that is of the same wood tone, and follow the 60-30-10. Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong. Walls, I think walls are your biggest canvas, right? So try not to leave walls empty. Just something as simple as putting a simple wall shelf, putting decorations can actually do a lot to actually increase the aesthetic value of that space. When it comes to curtains, always go full height. You know, a lot of people, you know, there's a window, and then they design the curtain like that. I think that one, maybe my grandma used to do that. Sorry, but let's not do that anymore, right? So try and go full height. So even though your window is this size, you can always go full height. Again, this helps make the space look bigger. It looks a whole lot better, and it doesn't cost a lot more to increase the height. So always do that. Other than that, decorations, I cannot stress this enough. No matter how nice everything is, but if you don't put in the effort to decorate, you just can't bring the flavor out. You know, sometimes adding a potted plant.
Yeah, the little accents to it.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know, bed, you know, putting that throw pillow, that throw blanket, you know, just adds a lot of coziness to the space.
Yeah.
Always do that. Lightings, always go warm white. Always go warm white. That actually gives a very cozy ambience. And every large space, for example, your kitchen, your living room and dining room, should always have some drama. So you can achieve this drama via hanging pendant lights, right? Like a feature light or what. So try and give some drama to every space. But don't overdo it lah.
Okay.
Like by drama, I know this word drama sounds very heavy, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, it doesn't have to be like over dramatic. But you know, eye level feature light actually adds a lot of drama to the space. So yeah, these are a few tips.
All right, fantastic stuff. Thank you so much, Gavin. And of course, if you guys want to have a good base to begin with, right, you can actually go and discover a little bit more about our self-paced residences or Paisley Service Residences, which is ready to move in at Tropicana Metro Park. All right, so it seems that you guys have answered all your questions that the audience has furnished to you. Awesome stuff indeed. Thank you so much to Sean as well as Gavin for answering all the viewers' questions. And now it's my turn to ask you guys, the viewers, the very third question. So remember to complete the 3 steps below to stand a chance to walk away with 50 ringgit of Grab vouchers. Step 1, like and share this live video, not forgetting to set your profile to public. Step 2, to fill in the registration form, pinned at the comment section below. And of course, the last and final step, to participate in this very Q&A session and engage with us. But I know we are coming to the end of the session already. And besides that, like we've mentioned, we've got the finale, or rather the grand lucky draw. After the entire live show series, all you have to do is fill out the registration form, all right? So winners, what will you be getting? You'll be getting either a Dyson air purifier, or you could be going home with an Nespresso coffee machine, or even a Harman Kardon Aura Studio Bluetooth speaker. So fantastic prizes. Remember to like and share and follow our Tropicana Facebook page. Alright, so now it comes to the third question of today's session. South Place Residences by Tropicana Metro Park. Is it a freehold or leasehold project? Freehold or leasehold? Give us your answers in the comments section below. Wow, we've come to the end of the session. Time truly does fly.
Wow, that's fast.
When we're having an exciting session right here. So this live session today, guys, has come to an end. Thank you very much to all of you who have actually stayed tuned and joined us. And also for those of you who have actually asked questions, we hope that we gave you great insights and great opinions, right? And if you'd like to know more, of course, about Tropicana Metro Park and the latest promotions, scan the WhatsApp QR code at the bottom and also talk to one of our sales representatives today. So without further ado, we will bid all of our viewers farewell. Guys, stay safe, stay sane till we meet again. Thank you and bye.